Hello. Today is a video about fruity florals, which is probably the most popular fragrance class at the moment. For quite a few years, perfume houses have really been pushing the fruity floral DNA, and that's what I'm going to go over in this video. Some fragrances that I think are really embody that category, starting with a relatively modern one, Dolce Gabbana The One for women. It's interesting because it's categorized, if you could see on the card, it's a floral oriental, and that doesn't really give much information about its fruit notes, which consist of peach, plum, bergamot, and orange. So all those fruit notes are super juicy, followed by important florals, mainly lily of the valley, and a few others. So the opening is mainly fruity, followed by the middle notes, which are mostly floral, then followed by the base notes, which are mostly amber and musk. And all that, wrapped up into a single fragrance, creates a very interesting and very warm, feminine sort of fragrance, which I think is a really good just product. And because of those warm notes, specifically the amber and the musk and stuff, that makes it last much longer than it would without those notes, because in general, floral and fruity notes on their own won't last that long compared to heavier notes. So it's good that it has, those nice notes to ground it, make it last longer, and kind of create this more developed, sophisticated, warm fragrance. Then, for something a little bit brighter, lighter, more playful and feminine, there is Versace Bright Crystal here. And you can get an idea of the notes on the card. The main ones here are pomegranate, yuzu, and then there's some ice in there. So the pomegranate is the strongest fruit note in this option, and it really complements the peony and the magnolia especially, because those notes are all pretty similar, and pomegranate itself is a pretty strong note. It's juicy, fresh, that red fruit sort of vibe. The yuzu adds a little bit of tartness. It's a type of citrus. And then the ice as well makes it especially fresh and just very appealing, very feminine and light. A little bit shower gel-esque, kind of that bubbly sort of vibe. But overall, it's a really good fragrance, especially casual daytime fragrance, nothing fancy. But definitely a really good choice. It's not that expensive either. I think it's like $50, so definitely a good choice. Then, more of a classic option is Red Door by Elizabeth Arden. This came out in the 90s, so it's not, straight out of the gate new, but it's definitely a classic. Lots of florals, huge list of florals, followed by plenty of fruit notes, mainly peach and plum, that sort of thing. The fruit notes, I would say, are less pronounced. Mostly you're going to get this powdery floral flavor, but the fruit notes are still there, mainly in the opening. So you get this kind of burst of fruitiness, which is very pleasant in the beginning. Then it dries down into that powdery floral nature. So this is better if you primarily want a floral fragrance and you don't care too much about the fruit notes. But this is a classic. It's also surprisingly long-lasting for a floral, fruity fragrance. This should definitely last you all day. It's also good for just daytime casual outings, but it's also good for evenings, going out for dinner, that sort of thing. Then, in the same vein, there's this, Miss Dior. Miss Dior has several variations. This is the 2021 version, and I would argue it's very similar to Red Door, in that, it's fruity floral. The main difference is that this isn't really as powdery as Red Door. This is more of smooth and slightly warmer and slightly sweeter category of perfume. It's also from Dior, so it's more expensive. And it's also higher quality. It's a very, very good, long-lasting fragrance. I would argue it lasts a good 8 or 9 hours before you need to reapply it again, which is, of course, a great bonus because you don't have to waste a bunch of perfume because it disappears too quickly. And it's just a really good floral fragrance. It's an all-purpose fragrance. You can use it for the evening, the daytime, pretty much whenever, wherever. It's really good. Then the last one is Yellow Diamond by Versace. This is not your typical fruity fragrance in that it's mostly kind of a crisp citrus fragrance rather than a juicy sort of fragrance. It has pear sorbet, bergamot, some citron thrown in there, followed by orange blossom, nymphaea, mimosa, and things like that. So it's much crisper than these other ones, and that makes it better for kind of the summer or the late spring when the weather's getting really hot and you need something to keep yourself refreshed and cool. And my main qualm with this is it's not super long lasting, probably 4 or 5 hours. So, you'll probably have to reapply it throughout the day, but if you don't mind that, then this is still a really good option. Super refreshing, a really just great daytime option. So, that's pretty much all I have to say about fruity floral fragrances. If you have any opinions about them, you can leave those down in the comments below. Maybe subscribe or like the video. And I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.